I got a question for BC because
Yeah.
if I'm correct, like I saw, all your logos popped up, right? Like all the teams that you guys have affinities for. I think I saw the Magic for you, right? Like that's your squad. I mean, are you excited for this year, or are you disappointed? I mean, I know how I feel about it, but where are you at with them as a 6th seed right now? Like, are you disappointed where this season's ended up?
I mean, honestly, dude, you kind of were kind of taking a little bit of my question for you as far as like, which I guess I'll get to as well after answering this one, like your biggest, I guess, surprises and biggest disappointments going into this year. But I will answer that and say I've been honestly disappointed. I had this team pegged as a team that was going to be a 2 seed. I thought for sure that they were going to, you're getting Desmond Bain, you're getting Tyus Jones for some backup point guard depth off the bench. I thought they had all the pieces to really figure it out. And on paper, they did. But execution-wise, that start they got off to at the beginning of the season, the offense was still sloppy, and the defense was even worse than it's been the last few years. And once again, new year, same story. Injuries. I don't understand how these guys don't seem to learn from their mistakes the last few years. They're still struggling with the same old problems. And again, floor spacing's a thing. Paolo is still trying to be an inefficient shot chucker from the mid-range when, honestly, dude needs to be using his size in the pick and roll with Bain, which they do. There's a lot of lineups. There's a lot of times when they're able to play to their strengths, and you're thinking this team can go really far, but then they just kind of go away from it, try to play iso ball, try to play hero ball, and honestly, I don't feel like Coach Mo's done the best job of getting them to play together to their strengths. So I would definitely say I've been disappointed. I think that they'll still I think right now they've got all the makings of a playing team, but I don't really see much more for them other than just wash, rinse, and repeat from the last couple of years.
Yeah, and like you said, and as G-Mike was talking about, the Charlotte Hornets, I mean, more than likely as a playing team, you're going to have to go up against either Charlotte or the rejuvenated Atlanta Hawks, right? I mean, that team suddenly is 14 deep. Buddy Hield is a DNP.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was coming off fantasy benches not that long ago, earlier in the season, right? Like they're deep, and getting Kuminga down there like they did. But it's interesting. I couldn't agree more. We have a big debate on the show constantly. We kind of have like this running joke: Franz Wagner or Austin Reeves. Who would you take? Let me ask you guys: who would you take as a cornerstone piece right now to start?
I'd take Reeves.
Okay.
I would take Franz because of his defense. I love the fact that he can be a two-way player. Austin Reeves, he's great offensively. Like, I'm not going to give that up for him. But his defense is a liability. It kind of reminds me of Tyler Hero sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to lean more towards Franz. Oh, yeah. I'm going to lean more towards Franz as well just because, like G-Mike said, gives me the defense. And he's got a more proven track record at this point. I think AR-15 still needs a few more seasons before you can start saying, okay, he's better than Franz.
Yeah, and I love that. I will say on my side of the fence, I'm a Franz Wagner guy. I would take him over, and it's exactly like you're saying. I mean, not a rim protector, but how many 6'10" guys can travel with 1 through 4 on the court? You know what I'm saying? And get it done. And that's who he is. And the offense is absolutely there. But he's really the alpha down there, not Banchero. But Banchero, just like he did last year after the All-Star break, here come the numbers, and he's looking like the bright shining star. But he's also sniping with his coach through the media, right? Yep. Not a good look for either side of the equation. I mean, Desmond Bain's amazing. Anthony Black's amazing. Wendell Carter. These guys are all great, but it's like some of the parts, it just doesn't add up. It's not.
They don't work. They don't work well together. And honestly, we were talking about this a little bit before you hopped on backstage on the show. Honestly, if I were them, I would try to experiment. It might sound crazy to some people, but I would experiment with Paolo at the 5. Why not? He's 6'10", 250. He's got some size. He can rim run pretty well for that team. And I think then you'd allow Anthony Black to come in and play more of, you have a 3-guard set with Franz as like a stretch 4 and then Paolo down low. He's already getting boards, and it would shift his focus from having to take so many contested jumpers like he does and maybe get him out of those bad habits and get him more towards his strengths of playing downhill and running more pick and roll action with Bain and Suggs and Black.
Stevie, why do you take Reeves? What do you like about him?
Well, I would go more of it just depends on the team that I guess he's going to as well. I think when he's out in LA that there's times where he gets hindered because of the people that's around him. So I think that you haven't really seen the full potential of what this guy can actually do because of who he has to play with. He's either when he's with LeBron, obviously he has to bow down to him. If he's with Luka, you always bow down to Luka. As a Mavs fan, I love Luka to death, but I understand how that can sometimes be difficult to play with just because of the speed that he plays with. So I think Reeves has a lot of untapped potential, and I feel like that he's going to either – they're going to have to make a move somewhere out in LA. It's clearly not working the way they wanted it to. So either he's going to be one of the core pieces, or they're going to maybe have to move on from him or something. But I just think Reeves has so much untapped potential to let him actually shine. So that's why I was going to go with him. I think we've already kind of seen what Franz can do. I feel like that he's kind of not plateaued, but I feel like we got it already. You're the number 2. Look how well it's working out for you, you know?
Yeah. So it should be a 1. But I am curious to now. I think that he really does have the skill set to be a 1 on this team. Or even just a 1A, 1B with Paolo, if Paolo would just learn to not try to be so hands-on with the entire team. But this kind of goes into my question now to you, AM. What team has been, in your opinion, maybe it is the Magic, or maybe there's somebody else that you've seen over the course of the season, and you're like, dang, I really had sky-high expectations for this team, and they have just really let me down this year. Who would you say fits that mold the best, in your opinion?
Yeah, BC, I'm sorry to say it is the Magic. You go top to bottom. Because you look at the other teams that are tanking, I don't think I had sky-high expectations for any of them. I look at that team, and I'm like, you guys should absolutely be a top 4 team in the East. That's just it's just the reality of the situation. You look out West, I mean, again, it's kind of chalk where it's at, other than San Antonio becoming who they are, and Wembanyama just absolutely taking them into a stratosphere. Even Devin Vassell, like there's just so many role players down there, and Castle and Harper, like how fast they've come along. But there's more exciting teams this year that were unexpected. Toronto's an unexpected team. Obviously, the aforementioned Charlotte Hornets, like the most. I mean, just insane the 16-3 run they're on, right? Like, because they're getting it done on both ends of the floor since January. This is 8 weeks now of them effectively being the number 1 team net rating in the NBA over 8 weeks. That's absurd, but they're doing it.
Charlotte finally getting a pick right.
What's that?
So how about Charlotte finally getting a pick right? It's only taken them years and years to – Knippel's worked out great for him.
Oh, Knippel, Kalbrenner. By the way, how about Brandon Miller? They got that pick right over to Henderson. Let's give them all the flowers they deserve on that.
Yeah,
how many people were on the Henderson train, and they were like, no. Give me the 6'9" wing who's going to get this done. Like, but Miller on certain nights, you're like, that's a future, like, 3rd, maybe 2nd team All-NBA guy. Yeah. You see it.
No, definitely.
Well, he was great in college too. It just sometimes takes a little bit of time for these guys to get the right set and right transition and stuff. Obviously, he had all the drama going on at Alabama, anyways. I'm pretty much positive with Alabama, but I think maybe now that's behind him and all that good stuff, maybe he's actually finally starting to shine and be the player most people expect him to be, because he was highly touted, and you didn't know what you're going to get out of him. So it's kind of nice to see him actually living up to that potential, because some of these guys, they have sky high potential and it just doesn't really ever work out for him.
But I feel like it's all timing too, because I feel like the NBA media, and especially the mainstream, when it comes to ESPN, TNT before, and these big time networks, they like to put these guys on the highest of pedestals, and it's like, dude, they just got into the NBA. They gotta get with the flow of the game, with the movement, with the speed, with the IQ. Like it's a lot that goes into it. You can't just go from one league to another and expect the guy to be on top of everybody just because they say so. Like, I feel like once you give them time, give them like a year or 2 under their belt, then they start to get comfortable, and then they really find out who they're really going to be. They're going to be a role player, a star player, or a guy that's going to get pushed out the league.
Yeah, great points.
Yeah, and I think a prime example would be my boy Cooper Flagg now. I admit I was kind of nervous the first few games. And I don't know what if I was just expecting the next LeBron right off the bat or something like that. But at first I was like, man, this guy, maybe he just was overhyped and stuff, but took him a little bit of time. And honestly, putting him in the position that he's in, maybe not the point guard position, that's still TBD if that actually makes sense.
Doing him no favors in the first 15 games.
I think the overall, hey, you're going to be our guy. And I think that really did kind of help him shine a little bit. And hey, maybe get that confidence. I can do this. I can be the centerpiece of this team, and they can build around me kind of thing. So I think that you're right. It just depends on the timing, and these guys sometimes need a little bit of time.
Yeah, and to answer BC's question, I'm sorry, Steve, but that's the team that's most disappointing to me. I felt like Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, obviously Kyrie, he got that injury, so you can't really do anything. They sat him out for the rest of the season. I'm sure he could have came back maybe in a few weeks or something like that, but obviously it's just smarter to sit him out. But that whole team that they had constructed, and with Jason Kidd at the realm of coaching that team, I felt like they were going to be a great 3-and-D team overall, and then you're going to have some key players who can actually give you 30 points like Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag sometimes, and Kyrie. But dude, man, the way that it just turned out for them is like it was a dumpster fire.
The way they were almost constructed to me remind me of how Orlando was in the last couple of years. To me, they were going to be all defense and not scoring as much. You didn't have as much scoring, but you're not going to be able to score on them either. So that's kind of how I thought the season was going to go. And it turns out that's not true, and a lot of people have scored on them. So, yeah, I did not see that one coming at all.
Who would have thought that having balance to your team, not just focusing on one side or the other, produces winning basketball? You know, genius idea.
Right? Such a strange concept.